Spoilers is darker and more intense than anyone expected. The Yen and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, June 17th, reveal that Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, will face an angry warning while Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, steps up to deal with a crisis himself. Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, will also get grilled, so there'll be a lot happening in Genoa City. Now that Lily is in control of Chancellor again, Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, will have a few things to say about her deal with Victor Newman, Eric Braeden. Of course, Nikki will be even more concerned over the news that Lily has chosen Kane as the company's next CEO. Although Nikki will interrogate Lily over her plans and perhaps predict disaster, Lily will defend Kane and stand her ground on putting him on the throne. Over with Devin Winters, Brighton James, he'll find out about Kane gaining Chancellor CEO status as well. That'll lead to Devin getting in Kane's face and delivering some fierce threats. If Kane does anything to tarnish Catherine Chancellor's, Jean Cooper, legacy or causes any more heartbreak for Lily, Devin will surely make him pay the price. Kane will deal with Devin's latest outburst on Wednesday's YNR episode and perhaps promise that he'll always work to protect Lily along with Chancellor. Over with Jack, he'll find a new way to take charge of a tricky situation. Since Patty Williams, Stacey Hayduke, has backed Jack into a corner regarding Diane Jenkins Abbott, Susan Walters, Jack has no choice but to make her think they have a chance romantically. However, even with Jack playing along and getting his family to move out of the house so Patty can move in, it'll be tough to pry more information out of her. If Jack wants to find out exactly where Diane is and get her back, he may have to use some bolder strategies. Whatever the case, Jack will step up to tackle all this drama from a new angle and hope for the best. It's clear that Jack will do everything in his power to save Diane, but he'll be playing with fire since he's manipulating Patty. The Yen and the Restless spoilers say Jack's dangerous game will lead to some shockers, so don't miss all the action. In my view, the consequences from today's events won't fade anytime soon. Kane under attack, Jack takes charge, Lily's interrogation. The sun rose over Genoa City with an uneasy calm, the kind that often came before a storm. By the time Wednesday's drama unfolded, several lives would be thrown into turmoil as secrets surfaced, alliances shifted, and dangerous accusations threatened to destroy reputations. At the center of the chaos stood Kane Ashby. For weeks, Kane had carefully rebuilt pieces of his life. He had returned with confidence, determination, and a belief that he could reclaim what he had lost. But in Genoa City, the past never stays buried for long. And on this particular day, the past was coming for him. Kane finds himself under attack. The morning began with Kane arriving at Chancellor Industries expecting another routine day of negotiations and strategic planning. Instead, he was greeted by cold stares and tense whispers. Something was wrong. Employees who usually welcomed him suddenly avoided eye contact. Conversations stopped when he entered rooms. Assistants hurried away as if they feared being seen talking to him. The atmosphere was impossible to ignore. When Kane finally cornered one executive and demanded answers, he received a shocking response. Rumors were spreading. Serious rumors. Someone had leaked information suggesting Kane was involved in a scheme that could threaten several business interests throughout Genoa City. The allegations weren't just damaging. They were explosive. What exactly are people saying? Kane demanded. The executive hesitated. That you're manipulating deals behind the scenes. That you've been playing everyone. Kane stared in disbelief. The accusations made no sense. Yet somehow they were spreading rapidly. And worse, people seemed willing to believe them. As the morning continued, Kane realized he wasn't merely dealing with gossip. Someone was orchestrating an attack. Someone wanted him destroyed. Lily refuses to ignore the signs. Across town, Lily Winters found herself caught between skepticism and concern. She had heard the rumors too. Initially, she dismissed them. After everything she and Kane had endured together, she understood better than most how easily misinformation could spread. Still, the timing felt suspicious. And certain details refused to leave her mind. Lily sat in her office reviewing documents connected to recent business transactions. The more she examined the information, the more questions surfaced. Questions that pointed directly toward Kane. Questions she desperately hoped had innocent explanations. Yet Lily had learned a painful lesson over the years. Trust should never replace facts. No matter how much history existed between two people. No matter how much love once connected them. The truth mattered. And she intended to find it. Jack Abbott takes charge. Meanwhile, at the Abbott mansion, Jack Abbott faced problems of his own. Recent events involving Patty had created tension throughout the family. Concerns continued to grow, and Jack knew someone needed to take control before the situation spiraled further. That someone was going to be him. Jack gathered key family members and made his intentions clear. "We've spent enough time reacting," he declared firmly. "It's time we start leading." The room fell silent. Everyone recognized the determination in Jack's voice. This wasn't a suggestion. It was a decision. For too long, uncertainty had dictated events surrounding the Abbott family. Jack refused to allow chaos to continue defining their future. Whether the issue involved Patty, family security, or business concerns, Jack planned to establish order. And anyone standing in his way would quickly discover how serious he was. Diane watches carefully. Diane Jenkins Abbott observed Jack's transformation with interest. Part of her admired his confidence. Another part worried about the consequences. Jack had always possessed a powerful sense of responsibility. When people he loved faced danger, he often carried burdens that should have been shared. Diane feared he was doing exactly that again. Later, she approached him privately. "You don't have to handle everything alone." Jack smiled. "I know." Yet Diane recognized that smile. It was the same smile he wore whenever he had already made up his mind. And once Jack Abbott committed to a course of action, changing it became nearly impossible. Lily begins her interrogation. Back at Winters, Lily decided speculation had gone on long enough. She wanted answers. Direct answers. She contacted Kane and requested a meeting. The message sounded professional. But beneath the formal language existed something else. Determination. When Kane arrived, he immediately sensed the seriousness of the situation. Lily remained composed. Calm. Controlled. Yet her eyes revealed concern. And suspicion. "Kane, we need to talk." The words struck harder than he expected. "What about?" Lily leaned forward. "The rumors." A long silence followed. Neither wanted the conversation. Yet both understood it was necessary. Kane defends himself. As Lily began asking questions, Kane fought frustration. He understood why she wanted answers. But he hated feeling as though he stood trial. "Do you believe any of this?" he asked. Lily paused. "I'm trying to determine what's true." The response stung. Kane wanted immediate support. Immediate trust. Instead, Lily offered caution. Professional caution. The same caution she would apply to anyone else. For several minutes, the interrogation continued. Every answer produced another question. Every explanation prompted further examination. Lily wasn't interested in excuses. She wanted facts. And Kane found himself struggling to provide enough evidence to satisfy her concerns. Devin notices the tension. Devin Hamilton eventually became aware of the meeting. Given recent events, he couldn't ignore what was happening. When he learned Lily was questioning Kane, Devin immediately understood the significance. Lily rarely conducted confrontations without reason. If she was investigating, something had triggered serious concern. Devin debated whether to intervene. Part of him believed Lily could handle the situation herself. Another part worried she might discover information capable of changing everything. Ultimately, curiosity won. Devon wanted to know exactly what Kane was hiding. If anything, a dangerous theory emerges. As discussions continued throughout Genoa City, a dangerous theory began gaining traction. Several influential figures started connecting unrelated events. Business disagreements. Unexpected financial shifts. Mysterious decisions. Suddenly, people claimed all roads led back to Kane. The theory contained major flaws. Unfortunately, facts often mattered less than perception. Once enough people embraced a narrative, stopping it became difficult. Kane watched helplessly as suspicion spread. The situation resembled a wildfire. Each attempt to extinguish it seemed only to fuel additional speculation. Jack receives disturbing information. At Chabot, Jack received news that immediately captured his attention. A trusted source revealed details about ongoing developments affecting several prominent families. The information wasn't complete. Yet it was troubling. Very troubling. Jack studied the report carefully. The more he read, the more convinced he became that someone was manipulating events behind the scenes. This wasn't coincidence. It wasn't bad luck. Someone possessed a strategy. Someone possessed an agenda. And Jack intended to identify the mastermind before additional damage occurred. Tracy shares her concerns. Later that afternoon, Tracy Abbott met with Jack. She sensed his growing determination and worried about where it might lead. "You look like you're preparing for battle." Jack laughed softly. "Maybe I am." Tracy frowned. "That's exactly what concerns me." She reminded her brother that solving problems required patience. Impulsive decisions often created bigger disasters. Jack listened respectfully. Yet his expression suggested he had already moved beyond caution. The time for waiting had ended. Action was necessary. Lily pushes harder. The conversation between Lily and Kane became increasingly intense. Several answers failed to satisfy her. Certain timelines didn't align. Specific details remained unclear. Most importantly, Kane appeared unusually defensive. Lily noticed every reaction. Every hesitation. Every shift in body language. Years of experience had sharpened her instincts. And those instincts told her something wasn't right. "Kane, is there anything you're not telling me?" The question hung heavily between them. For a moment, Kane seemed unable to respond. That silence spoke volumes. Kane faces an impossible choice. Inside, Kane battled conflicting emotions. He wanted honesty. Complete honesty. Yet revealing certain information could create new complications. Information that involved other people. Information that might trigger additional investigations. Information that could make an already terrible situation worse. The dilemma left him trapped. Speak and risk disaster. Remain silent and appear guilty. Neither option offered safety. Neither option guaranteed survival. Nikki Newman gets involved. Elsewhere, Nikki Newman heard whispers about the growing controversy. Like many Genoa City power players, she understood that today's rumors often became tomorrow's scandals. Nikki decided to gather information. Not because she enjoyed gossip. Because she recognized potential threats. Any instability affecting major businesses could eventually impact Newman Enterprises. And Nikki never underestimated the importance of staying informed. Especially when powerful people found themselves under attack. Jack's leadership inspires confidence. As word spread regarding Jack's proactive approach, many employees at Chabot felt reassured. Leadership mattered during uncertain times. People wanted someone capable of making decisions. Someone willing to accept responsibility. Jack provided exactly that. While others debated possibilities, he pursued solutions. While others worried, he acted. The difference became increasingly noticeable. Even longtime critics acknowledged that Jack was stepping up when his family needed him most. Lily discovers a clue. Near the conclusion of her interrogation, Lily stumbled upon something unexpected. A detail. Small but significant. At first glance, it seemed insignificant. Yet the more she considered it, the more important it became. The clue didn't prove Kane's innocence. Nor did it establish guilt. However, it suggested a possibility nobody had considered. What if Kane wasn't the architect? What if he was the target? The idea changed everything. A new suspect emerges. Once Lily examined the clue further, another name entered the picture. Someone with motive. Someone with opportunity. Someone capable of orchestrating a sophisticated attack. The realization shocked her. Could the entire scandal be built on deception? Had everyone been focusing on the wrong person? If so, exposing the truth would require careful investigation. The real culprit wouldn't surrender easily. Kane sees a glimmer of hope. When Lily finally shared portions of her discovery, Kane experienced something he hadn't felt all day. Hope. For hours, accusations had surrounded him. Now, for the first time, evidence suggested another explanation. He wasn't cleared. Far from it. But the narrative was shifting. And that shift could mean the difference between redemption and destruction. Jack moves forward. As evening approached, Jack finalized plans for the next phase of his strategy. He contacted allies. Scheduled meetings. Reviewed information. Every move served a purpose. Every decision reflected careful consideration. Jack understood challenges remained ahead. Nevertheless, he felt confident. Progress was finally occurring. And progress created momentum. The mystery deepens. Just when several characters believed they were approaching answers, new questions emerged. Additional information surfaced. Unexpected connections appeared. Hidden relationships became impossible to ignore. Instead of simplifying matters, each revelation complicated them. The puzzle continued expanding. And somewhere within that puzzle existed a truth capable of reshaping multiple lives. Lily makes a promise. Before leaving her office, Lily spoke privately with Kane. Her tone softened considerably. "I don't know what's happening yet." Kane nodded. "Neither do I. But I intend to find out." The promise carried genuine conviction. Lily wanted facts. Real facts. Not assumptions. Not rumors. Not convenient narratives. She planned to uncover the truth regardless of where it led. Even if that truth proved painful. Kane prepares for war. After their conversation ended, Kane stood alone reflecting on the day's events. The attacks would continue. He knew that. Whoever targeted him had invested too much effort to stop now. Therefore, Kane reached an important decision. He would stop playing defense. If enemies wanted a fight, they would get one. Because Kane Ashby had survived worse. And he wasn't about to surrender without a battle. Wednesday ends with more questions than answers. As darkness settled over Genoa City, tensions remained high. Kane faced growing pressure. Jack embraced leadership. Lily pursued the truth. And countless secrets lingered beneath the surface. The coming days promised revelations, confrontations, and unexpected alliances. For Kane, survival depended on proving his innocence. For Jack, success required staying one step ahead of emerging threats. For Lily, everything hinged upon discovering who could be trusted. One thing was certain. The drama was only beginning. And Genoa City would never be the same once the truth finally came to light.